यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिनेता बहारिणे. Humble pranams to the monks of Sri Ramakrishna Math and Mission. It gives heart-filling enthusiasm and cheer to all of us in commemorating the visit and lectures of the great monk Swami Vivekananda in the holy land of Tamil Nadu. As a narrator by divine right and will in the holy town of Kumbakonam, he made the powerful saying, "Arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached." This has enthused our people to re-emerge as potentially vibrant, and most importantly, this inspired them to realize the divine nature with unlimited capabilities to manifest and accomplish anything and everything for betterment of the world. Under the clutches of various rules and regimes for over several centuries, the colonized minds in this country lost the sensitivity and the creativity to understand their original nature. The struggling and suffering humanity was in an urgent need of a beacon to dispel the darkness of ignorance imposed on them over centuries. The somber mass further needed the guidance for unwinding their hidden potentials to experience the spirit of Swatantra, the liberation from all clutches and turmoil due to ignorance and slavery. There was a need for them to realize the glory of the lineage and inheritance of eternal values of Bharat that had contributed to welfare of the universe. Thus the avatar of Sri Ramakrishna and his disciples, including Swami Vivekananda, came about to uplift the humanity and further blessed for a self-reliant Bharat in modern era through eternity and prosperity, by which the entire world can be benefited. Most importantly, the ideals of Swami Vivekananda, which are always aligned with time-tested values, can ever inspire the scientific community. He was a great scientific visionary of all times. He strongly believed that the scientific attitude is a key to the pursuit of truth. He said, don't believe a thing because you just read it in a book. Find out the truth for yourself. That is the great realization. He sowed the seeds of Vedanta in the West and the scientific growth in India. As a messenger of Indian wisdom to the West, he considered the synthesis of East and West as the best model for mankind and for excellence. In his famous Kumbakonam lecture, he emphasized that the conclusions of modern materialistic science can be acceptable harmoniously with the Vedanta, and these conclusions were arrived years ago in this land. An eminent scientist from anywhere in this world, given an opportunity to come across the Vedantic literature, can easily recognize the wonderful rationalization as well as the perfect synthesis and harmonious assimilation of scientific logics that are applicable ever. Now, some questions come naturally. Why has Swamiji connected the science and Vedanta, and what are the scopes of such connectivity? What was the vision of Swamiji for a nation to progress through science, and how did he spearhead such process? Is science purely a materialistic, ephemeral field, or can it offer any scope to realize the eternal elements? How was it possible in ancient times to decipher the truths of nature that science today supports them with evidences? What kind of science can benefit the society and sustain the welfare of humanity? Why is it so relevant of Swamiji's inspiration to scientific community today to advance science than ever? So before seeking answers, because these questions are going like that. So before seeking answers to the above, let us know the history of modern science, its fundamentals, and what it has contributed to the society and what it has yet to meaningfully offer the society. Many of us think that the scientific contributions are largely attributed to the West. This is only partly true. In fact, the Western science is recent in origin. First, it is important to understand that science as a field cannot be owned as monopoly rights of any nation. An exclusive characteristic of British invasion to India was the use of science to subjugate the nation. An exclusive characteristic of British invasion which resulted in the industrial revolution that had driven all science-related fields robustly. The phenomenal success of the industrial revolution became an extraordinary strength of the British offensive, so that they could penetrate and inflict harsh blows to every walk of the nation's life just because of the use of science. Promotion of such material science created huge imbalances, chaos, and inequalities in the society due to satiate the insatiable hunger for the material pursuits. Today's world has come to the threshold of an explosion in science and technology. Within a century, the science has advanced at a terrific pace that all progress of the previous millennia put together pales into insignificance. This is a human era that the world is called modern, as we see the products of technology everywhere around us. Miserably, such progress in modern world failed to manifest the divinity in humans and doesn't offer mankind any hope or scope of existence beyond the material pursuits. As the people of this country were imposed with culture and thoughts of the West, their colonized minds lacked the Swatantra. As a result, the Bharatvasi had lost the sensitivity, originality, and the creativity which had been inherited since time immemorial. Swatantra is very important in thoughts and actions, including the science field, for nurturing creativity. The spirit of Swatantra combined with responsibility is essential. The only Swatantra is of no use. The Swatantra should be combined with responsibility. That is important for achieving meaningful tasks without servility. Amidst these changes, amidst these challenges, during the colonial rule, our notable Indian scientists C.V. Raman, Chandrasekhar, J.C. Bose, mathematician Ramakrishna, and many others made outstanding contributions after exploring the fundamentals rooted in Bharat. They made Britishers to understand that the intellectual capabilities of Indians are superior, and many Indian scientists are continuously displaying the best of their talents to the world. We cannot negate that the life has been comfortably improved at all levels through science. Many examples can be shown that the humanity has been saved by science in many aspects. Science offers unlimited opportunity to innovate for betterment of the societal welfare in terms of improving defense, health, industry, economy, etc. Yet there are challenges. The advancements in science are on par with the pace of growing challenges. We wish to have an effect for a price, but adverse effects are given free of cost. Science in the pursuit of materialism makes people slavery of mundane pursuits. Hence, prioritization of its use for society is the need of our. The modern science. So what are the limitations of modern science? Definitely science, we need science for making a country to develop. But the modern science has some limitations. So what are those limitations? The modern science has to be improved by reducing rigid logics, dogmas and standards. It mainly focuses on hypotheses with seclusion of factors rather than assimilation and integration of them. Seclusion rather than inclusion. This methodology will work under controlled conditions. However, a comprehensive picture is not arrived in most situations, or the credibility of the findings is questionable due to biased approaches. As a result, the ideas and results are not complete and have numerous detections and limitations. The science in current time has progressed well at deciphering the relation between one factor and one effect at a time, that is unidirectional, but finds difficulty in providing conclusions when many factors are involving or interacting together to produce a larger complex effect. Hence, multidimensional approaches are needed to get larger picture. Accumulation of information without proper assimilation of observations and contradiction of findings in different setup today deviates the researchers from addressing the core issues. It is also much relevant to emphasize the quote of Swamiji. Education is not the amount of information that is put into our brain and runs reared there and digested all throughout your life. We must have life building, man making, character making assimilation of ideas. Sounds very true for science in today's context. So science is not dogmatic and it is open to revision. Science is always subjected to change if a better model explains the truth with clarity. It also rejects concepts null and void if challenged or proved. The field is strengthened by knowledge based on validated observations. It attempts to explore the facts by experimentation and offers a lot of solutions to the enigmas. The field has many orders of findings. The lower is hypothesis, which is applied to limited settings and moves further to theory, rule, and finally laws, having wider or global application. However, it has to be admitted that there are no universal laws well established in science, and the laws are subjected to change with respect to time and space. Research in physics and chemistry will continue till all the components and elements of universe are found. Research in biology will continue till the very nature of life is found experimentally. But researchers strive hard to decipher the infinite truth because of the limitations associated with modern science that is founded on materialism. And there are other limitations like, the modern science function within the well-defined boundaries or settings. And it is also subjected to subjectivity. It should bridge the gap of contradictory subjects such as materialism and divinity, or ephemeral and eternal, and explore further the universal orderliness. Science continues to advance further until it finds the ultimate truth from where everything is manifested. In such unity, the perfect orderliness exists. Now let us hear the apt quote of Swami Vivekananda. Science is nothing but the finding of unity. As soon as science would reach perfect unity, it would stop from further progress because it would reach the goal. The chemistry could not progress further when it would discover the one element out of which all others would be manifested. Physics would stop further when it would be able to discover one energy from which all others are manifested. The science of religion becomes perfect when it would discover Him who is the one life in a universe of death, Him who is the constant basis of an ever-changing world, one who is the only soul of which all souls are but delusive manifestations. Thus, through multiplicity and duality, even including the diversity, the ultimate unity is reached. This is the goal of all science. What a wonderful and realistic saying of Swami Vivekananda that every scientist would agree with this. Let us look at one incident in this connection. In the year 1895, Swamiji shared with Tesla the idea of matter and energy to be one and requested him to prove it. However, Tesla could not prove it. Eventually, after 10 years, he met Albert Einstein, who proved the oneness of matter and energy. We all know the formula E is equal to mc square. Vivekananda's exploration of the cosmic universe was infinitely deeper than what science revealed, and he attributed such inner voice of him to ancient values of assimilation and harmony. In Bharat, what we call Vigyan treated the universe as an observation space. Our laboratory was nature. The system is not built by random observations but by intuition, observations, reasoning and logics. Such an inclusive system was pursued by the ancient rishis, seers of truth. This demonstrated that the practice of science in our country is time immemorial and inherent. Our systematic thought processes are collectively exposed and manifested in various outstanding forms such as culture, tradition, grammar, languages, classic arts, commerce, medicine, astronomy, mathematics, structural engineering, yoga, etc. The universal values are not just taught, but inherited from lineages having wisdom. We now have both to combine harmoniously to achieve material and spiritual prospects, prosperity and eternity, to elevate the humanity. It is time to make a paradigm shift on the notion of materialistic science and to revamp the science for serving the society, to ease the burden of various fronts of burden. In this connection, it is apt to quote that Albert Einstein, who has also summarized the relationship between religion and science in the same spirit as that of Swami Vivekananda. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Bharat, our motherland, should excel in every field of human endeavor. This was the vision of Swami Vivekananda. After interacting with several gains of Western science in foreign lands, Swamiji felt that our nation also should progress in science and technology. He believed that dwelling in the glory of the past alone doesn't uplift the nation. Unless a nation equips to address its own challenges, it would lag behind in overall development. He felt the need to advance the country through innovation, but with prioritization to address the numerous problems the mankind face. He was envisioning for a scientific system that assimilate ancient yet contemporary along with the modern science to provide holistic solutions for several challenges the country face. He highlights such a harmony for prosperity of the nation in his Kumbakonam lecture. This ideal can only support country in terms of self-reliance, self-sustenance in lines with ethics and will be the panacea for all the present day problems the mankind face. There is a necessity to connect values and innovation in this modern era. We are in a need to innovate now than ever, than before. And our urge should become more intense in the pursuit of truth, which is the sole goal. This ideal of him can inspire youth in science. Swamiji's main concern was to promote science and technology as he intensely felt that only through the integration of research, development and indigenous production capabilities country can become strong. He has not just preached, but made it to a reality that the country can excel with its potential resources. He inspired Sri J.N. Tata to start the Indian Institute of Science, the first scientific institute of modern India, established in Bangalore in 1909. And the most famous, the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIFR, in Mumbai. These world-class premier institutes produced many celebrities are celebrated and influential scientific personalities. Tata has established a Tata Steel Limited in Jamshedpur to manufacture steel and alloys indigenously without any tech support from foreign land. Today we are in the process of making India self-reliant through a central scheme, Make in India, which is a result of the ideals and grand vision of Swamiji. He inspired J.C. Bose for his greatest innovations in the field of wireless telegraphy, semiconductors, microwave optics technologies and biology. He encouraged Bose for filing a patent for an important invention, and this was actually granted. For filing the patent, J.C. Bose took the help of Sister Nivedita and Sarabud, and finally it was granted a US patent. Due to Swamiji's motivation, Bose Institute in Calcutta became a reality in 1970. These are the finest examples of Swami Vivekananda's enthusiasm for science and respect for scientists. Due to his inspiration and blessings, our country has become one of the leading nations in science and technology and has started emerging as a self-reliant nation enriched with abundance of youth potential. Is there anything better than the feel that an inspiration from such a perfected spiritual monk promoted the country's development through scientific spirit and religious consciousness? Our countrymen now have gained unprecedented self-respect, self-confidence and self-assertion from Swamiji's life and teachings. Beyond all, Swamiji served as a messenger of light and life unto humanity. He served the humanity with love as a law of nature. Following his message to humanity and practicing it in words and deeds would be a real tribute for all scientists to this great visionary. His inspiration will ever guide the scientific community to understand not only the book of nature but to create a chapter with new, distinct and significant researches through which the entire world can be benefited. Thank you. Namaskar.